Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another video today, another new video today, and as you can see I'm on WWE 2k19, but that isn't what I'm here to actually discuss. Today I'm actually here to discuss and talk about 2K's new game being released, which is, as we all know, WWE 2k20. Now, there is a lot to discuss with this game, so I'm going to get into a couple of things and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just going to go through a list. Well, I haven't actually specifically got a list, but I'm just going to think off the top of my head some of the things about the game that I've seen, some of the things I want to possibly put back in the game again, and some other things along the way as well. So the first thing I should talk about, and probably the biggest thing I should discuss, would be the fact that they have added a female wrestler on the front cover for the very first time. This, of course, being Becky Lynch. Now, I'm not surprised that they've put a female diva on the front cover. Because it has been a long time coming. I think the last time I saw that speculation back in the day was actually 2k13, I believe, when they were going to, or they were talking about putting AJ Lee on the front cover of 2k13. But yeah, nothing ever came of that. I believe, I can't remember who the front cover actually was. I believe it was actually CM Punk at the time. But I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to look that up and get it back. I mean, I'm going to discuss other games as I go along anyway, leading up to K20. So yeah, it's just things like that. So yeah, so Becky Lynch being on the front cover is, of course, a huge big improvement for the women's evolution. I mean, for the past couple of years, the women's evolution has been changed dramatically anyway. The divas are getting their own sort of pay-per-views now, and they're putting more in pay-per-views to do with the divas in WWE, which I think is great. So yeah, Becky Lynch being on the front cover really does sort of give the divas that power shift, which I think they all wanted and the company wanted as well, without a doubt. So 100% big achievement for Becky. And of course, I always like to talk about the male superstar. Now, male superstar being, of course, who I'm playing as in this match, funnily enough, and that is the big dog, Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns has had a very sort of diverse up and down career in, I would say, the 2018-19 year. I mean, we're still early into 2019, but I mean, he suffered with the cancer issue and everything like that. But putting that aside, I mean, I don't want to sound really horrible or anything like that. It was a disastrous time for him. Whether he'll come back to the ring or not, I don't know. But I am glad to see him back in action. What the company are actually doing with him, though, I'm not too sure about it. I mean, I used to like him, but I don't know, 50-50 on him at the minute, I would say. But for him to make the cover, I think they were actually discussing to make him the cover last year because of what he did. But yeah, of course, he now obviously stands alone. He has no Shield anymore. He has, none of this business anymore. So yeah, he does stand alone. He's not champion or anything like that. And then, of course, he kept going up with Brock Lesnar over and over again in all the pay-per-views. But, yeah, good choice for the cover. I mean, I could think of worse, I could think of better, but I wouldn't say I'm not happy with it, but I wouldn't say I am happy with it at the same time. So yeah, so the front cover for 2K20, I think, is actually quite good. Now, of course, ever since 2K have taken over the games, you get 3 different types of the game you can buy. Now, the first one being the box standard game alone, just WWE 2K20, you get no add-ons or anything like that. It's just a box standard game with everything you would expect inside it. Characters up to date, everything like that. And then, of course, you get your middle choice, which is your deluxe edition, which is the one I tend to go for, just because it gives you a little bit to play with. You know, you do get a couple of add-ons here and there. You know, you do get a little bit of extra bonuses. Those bonuses I can't name off the top of my head. But I think with 2k20, the deluxe edition, I believe you get, I think it's like sort of like Bray Wyatt's new character, like the Fiend or something, along with like sort of zombie type thing edition, sort of like a darker side to the game. You know, that looks really fun. I think they're adding in some sort of like Halloween tweaks into it as well, which does look quite good. But yeah, the deluxe edition, it does come with sort of optional extras, but it doesn't hand you every single thing, basically, because that would be left down, of course, to the collector's edition. Now, what WWE 2k20 are doing this year, I believe, for the collector's edition is, I think it's some sort of SmackDown sort of idea, sort of like 20, I think it's 20-year anniversary, something like that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I know it's sort of like a SmackDown edition where you can relive as all your favorite characters, superstars, you know, people like Rey Mysterio.
And his name is John Cena!
People really changed the SmackDown business. Brock Lesnar is another big one. So, you know, it's names like that. And with the collector's edition, of course, you don't have to pay for any add-ons. They're all in the game. They're all included. You're basically getting the whole lot. I mean, there's hardly anything you would have to do in the game or anything you would have to buy as an optional extra. You know, so, but I believe it is the most expensive one, which is understandable. So yeah, in terms of what's in the game, or in the different sets of games in that type of way, yeah, very beneficial depending on the type of gameplay you want to experience. Depends on the type of version of the game you're going to buy. Now, in terms of actual gameplay, you know, there's good things, there's bad things, there's things that I want them to add, there's things I want them to take away. And I think one of them being, in terms of actual gameplay and everything like that, my first thing would probably be loading times in the game. It's the same with any other game, but WWE especially, I would have to say the most annoying thing in the game, in the past two games, would be loading times, loading screens, loading menus, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they just need to sort out their timings on that. You know, maybe have it run off a faster, I don't know what they call it. I'm not very technical, but you know, just fix it. You know, like I've played games where loading times aren't as long as that. I mean, I have played worse games with worse loading times. For example, Skyrim. I mean, by the time Skyrim loads from one place to another, you could probably make yourself like 10 cups of teas by then, like easily. But, you know, WWE, it just needs to change, you know, so yeah, just, I don't know if they can, I don't know if they will, but, you know, so I just feel like that's one thing that they could do to make the game better. Match types in the games, or in the game, should I say. I don't actually know what match types there are. Like I said, I haven't really done enough research to actually give you guys the ins and outs, but I mean, I can see the match types being pretty box standard. You know, like your general 1-on-1, 2-on-2, triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, 6-man. They'll probably add in their 6-man tag matches, 6-man elimination chamber, 6-man over the top rope. You know, I think a match I would love to see, which they could actually do, would probably be the 50-man Royal Rumble. I mean, they're probably add in the 10, 20, 30-man Royal Rumble as box standard, but if they added in the 50-man, I think that would be 10 times better. But yeah, match types alone I can see being pretty box standard. I did see that they were going to bring back, I believe it is the mixed match tag team challenge, or the match tag team matches, or whatever you want to call it. So where you have like you know, you got your one guy in the ring, and then you got one diva against another guy and another diva. So yeah, that is kind of cool. I've always liked their matches personally. You know, now in terms of other matches, you know, like I said, it will be pretty box standard. So I think you'll have your things like Extreme Rules or No Holds Barred, Last Man Standing, steel cage matches, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. You know, all those types of things will probably be added into the game. No question about it. Now, my career mode, I'm going to move on to next, because where my career mode, or what I experienced on this version of my career, was something a little different than what they've done in previous games. So, but yeah, my career mode, I did see that there was some sort of weird thing with a male and female being in my career. Within the trailer that I saw, the male and female were actually together, so I don't know if it'll be separate, or whether you can play a male and a female at the same time. I mean, I did get a little confused with what they were trying to do with that, but yeah, I'm not too sure on what they're doing there. But I mean, it would be really, really good to see what the game brings out and what it develops in my career mode. Now, 2K Showcase, I believe they're keeping, along with 2K Towers. I believe with the deluxe edition, one of the towers you can get is actually the story of Roman Reigns. Again, which I'm happy with, but obviously they're chucking in more of the credit, really. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, obviously what he did with the Shield and that left a big impact upon WWE and whatnot anyway. So yeah, it would be really, really good to play through that. Don't really know what other towers they're gonna add. I mean, 2K19 do have quite a lot. You know, like Rey Mysterio's return and Ronda Rousey's arrival to the WWE, which was very short-lived. After she lost the title at WrestleMania. But I mean, you know, 2K Towers are always fun to play through. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna add in terms of this one. So moving on to, I'm just trying to think of what we've discussed and what I haven't discussed, to be honest. Story. The I can't think of what it's called. I think it might be the Showcase, actually. I don't know. I'm just going to call it like the story. The last time we saw a story, well, was actually 2K19, because you did play through Daniel Bryan's story, I believe, which, I mean, I wasn't too happy with, because I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Bryan. I did take a liking to him back in the old day, but I mean, now it's just like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, not the biggest fan of him, in all fairness. So yeah, I was really disappointed in that. I think the last storyline I actually liked to play through was it Stone Cold Steve Austin's? I believe it was. What game? I can't. It was either 17 or 16. I can't actually say without looking. I think it was 16. It would make sense to be 16. But yeah, I do like it when they add in a personal character's story to play through, and because they made a big impact throughout that year or something like that. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised they put Daniel Bryan on 2K19 and not AJ Styles, considering AJ Styles made the front cover. But you know, it is what it is. But in this storyline, you know, they went ahead and added in the Four Horsewomen, which consist of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, I believe, is the last one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is those four divas. Now, for me, I don't really like that at all. don't know why. Well, I like some of them, but at the same time, I don't. None of them 4 divas have any personal, any personal impact on me. In terms of divas, for me, you're looking at people like Alexa Bliss, Lita, like all the old divas. Those are the ones that I really knew. Like, Trish Stratus obviously just returned to SummerSlam. Kelly, Stacey Kimberly, all the old divas. Today's divas I don't really know much about apart from the main ones that I watch, like Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. Literally, I can only name 2. Like I said, I don't really follow the diva fandom that much. I know Kairi Sane is now on main roster along with Asuka. But yeah, all the focus has been on Becky Lynch. I do like her, but again, I don't. It's just one of them things where you have to try and think about. But yeah, 2k20, it should hopefully overall be a really, really good game. In all fairness, I mean, I heard they were going to bring back sort of like legend appearances and things like that, because I've seen it in the trailer. I'm not too sure who, and I'm not too sure on who you can get on certain editions. So for example, I'll go through the roster here. Batista, I think they'll keep in. Bret Hart, I think they'll keep. I mean, I've got no thoughts on why they would remove him. British Bulldog, I reckon they'll keep. Beefcake, I reckon they'll keep. I'm just trying to find the ones that I really know myself, because DDP, they pretty much, I think they will keep. Now, see, Dean Ambrose, I'm 50-50 with, because he obviously now wrestles for AEW. And I think WWE as a company won't accept people who have moved from AEW back into WWE. With Sasha Banks, it's different, because they said, yeah, all right, we're going to do the 4 Horsewoman story. So Sasha's kind of has to be added into that without question. Goldberg, they'll definitely keep because of what he's done lately. Hardy Boys, I reckon, will get added in there. John Cena, I reckon they'll have the latest version of him. Whether they'll have in the 2013 and the 2003 version, I don't know. They'll probably keep the 2003 version, without a doubt. Kane 98, they'll probably keep, along with The Undertaker. Kurt Angle, they'll probably keep. So yeah, it's just like people like that, but I don't know what games they'll be on. I mean, I know whenever I pre-order WWE, it's always the deluxe edition in which I get them in. Collector's edition, you'll get them in it anyway, because obviously it's a collector's edition and everything comes with it. Like I said, I don't really think you have to buy anything with that. But yeah, with the normal version, I don't know who you will get, who you won't get. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I can bring you guys, and that's just from the top of my head. I mean, I haven't really done any research into it or anything like that. But yeah, when the game definitely comes out and when I get my hands on it and have a feel for the game, I can obviously bring you guys some content on the game and what I think about it. But for the minute, I think I'm going to leave it at that. And until my next video, I will see you guys later.